What is up, YouTube, and welcome to this Black Mirror episode 1 of season 4 review. So I completely forgot that this show was dropping today. I completely and utterly forgot, and I was really gutted when I realised that, well, I completely forgot. So the minute I got on my lunch break, I just started watching the first episode, which is USS Callister, which is pretty much an homage to the 60s version of Star Trek the original series. Now, I will be doing a review of the full season. I would like to do reviews of every single episode, but that's just not really that possible, to be honest. And I think that would take up too much of my videos and subject matter for the channel, but I will be doing a full season review for the whole of season 4. And if you don't know, if you've come across this video and you know what Black Mirror is, well done on having a fantastic taste. If you are one of my subscribers, very lovely, thank you for subscribing, of course, and you've come from kind of DC or Marvel or Game of Thrones or Doctor Who or Rick and Morty or some comics videos, one of the other things that I regularly cover, well, Black Mirror is, I would say, the Twilight Zone, a very updated version of Twilight Zone, maybe more of the Outer Limits. I would say Outer Limits was a bit more kind of technical, I would say. But this pretty much is created by Charlie Brooker. Charlie Brooker is a journalist, a British journalist and broadcaster. Someone who I have been reading ever since he was first in PC Zone magazine, writing reviews of PC games, obviously. But I am a big fan of his. And this is essentially an anthology series, and if this is your first time watching it, you've got 3 seasons to catch up on. Now, for some reason, ever since Black Mirror has gone all American and gone on Netflix, we've got longer seasons. And seasons 1 and 2 were fairly short, to be honest. But I'm glad we're getting more of this because we haven't got a Charlie Brooker 2017 Newswipe, a review of the year. But we've got this, and this is when it usually airs. So we're going to have to make do and mend with this, to be honest. And this is essentially, each episode has a different kind of subject matter. This is the first episode, and this focuses on kind of VR immersive games. Now, the thing is with this is the fact that throughout the seasons we've had really kind of mind-blowing, kind of thought-provoking things in Black Mirror. It's ranged from politics, from a person making the Prime Minister of England have intercourse with a pig, right through to kind of real VR stuff. And VR is, and last season it had a lot of VR, kind of virtual reality with the headsets like an Oculus Rift or HTC Vive or PlayStation VR. So that is really the cutting edge, and that has always been, I would say, has been a common trend of kind of, I would say, sci-fi for a very long time, because it's something which technology has never actually been able to do. And this is another take on the perils of VR. Ooh, the perils of virtual reality. That would be possibly something that a Mary Whitehouse type broadcaster or someone, or maybe the Daily Mail, I hate the Daily Mail, would actually produce and have as a headline, which is pretty funny. But this episode does really focus on the perils of not VR. On the surface, it is looking at technology, procedurally generated worlds, and the, well, game development. But this is really about the limits of what you can actually do, and what should technology actually do. So this is an absolutely star-studded cast. In the other episodes, we didn't really have much in the way of, I would say, celebrity. The biggest one I could think of, apart from John Hamm in the ones before Netflix, was the one where we actually had the dude from Get Out. He was in a game show style world in one of the episodes. But here we have one of the McPoyle twins from It's Always Sunny. We've got the mother from How I Met Your Mother. We have also got one of the dudes from Breaking Bad and he really does play this part really well. I thought he was really, really good in this, and it really is a fantastic episode. The production values, like what I mean by when we've got big celebrities in this, or big kind of, I would say, big names or people that you at least recognise. Obviously, one of the McPoyle twins was in Westworld, which is, I can't wait for that to come back. So this episode, it was really amazing. I really did like how what we had two worlds. So we had the world where we had the main character, I guess you could call him the main character, where he has his game development company, he's downtrodden, and he pretty much focuses on a normal kind of nerd fantasy. So he has a horrible life at the moment. He's downtrodden in his own company, and he ends up falling for a new girl. This is very, very formulaic here, except when we get to the nerd fantasy. And the nerd fantasy is usually like weird science or war games, those kind of things. And the nerd fantasy, again, you could say that the nerd fantasy is also Ready Player One, which is a book. I listen to the audiobook because I cheat. So that is very much a real stereotypical white nerd fantasy. It really is, where you live in the dreams of, you've got a horrible life, you're really not that desirable, but in the world you make, you actually are. And we see his true colours here, where he creates these people, or clones of these people, inside this world. The technology, which I'm not really sure how that works. They didn't ever explain or attempted to explain why this. And this technology did seem incredibly fringe, especially even in this world. So they made no desire of explaining that. But the doorbells that we had in the game and things like that, the screens, they are very, very much kind of realistic. It's something which the world looks how it does now. We just have realistic VR where your eyes just go milky white, and then you are in the world. So I really did like the way that they played on the trope of the nerd fantasy, where he's really savage. Although you have to wonder, does he realise what these people are doing? Does he realise what he's created? Because we never actually see that. We see him downtrodden in the world, but everyone who crosses him, he's actually cloned and put in the world. So we never actually get to the nitty-gritty of him understanding if he's created what he has. But I think it's pretty much implied when the son of the CEO of Callister Inc. is actually destroyed. Really, really savagely, really, really dark as well there. So it is a really, really good episode, a really strong open. I'm really, really excited to get back to watching this show. But I wanted to do this video, and also I've got another video coming up for The Flash and Supergirl and Arrow as well. But the episode really did work really well. The technology of them becoming sentient and things like that, a bit further ahead. And this is, for me, a bit further ahead for what we usually get in Black Mirror. So it seems like they're going further and further afield. And I'm not sure if I like that. I'm not sure if I like the fact that they're going beyond the technology. This is always like something which, yeah, there's a little twist in something which could usually happen. But maybe this technology isn't that far away. VR is something which is still on the fringes. It's just not taken off. And I can't see it taking off for a good while, to be honest. It's not something I'm interested in personally. But this is kind of, I guess I could look past that because it is what it is. And the storyline is done really, really well. And it does really challenge the male kind of power complex nerd fantasy, like I said, really, really well. But you have to wonder, is there any sort of recourse or kind of for what he's done? These are digital beings that he's created. It's iffy. This is the one where I really feel a complete grey area with what this actually is. So it was a really, really good episode. I really, really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to seeing the next episode. So please do drop a like on there if you want me to do a full season review, and let me know in the comments if there's any episodes in particular you want me to actually cover and talk about a bit more in depth, because it's all about you guys here. You keep me going, and thank you so much so far for 12,000 subscribers. That is freaking insane, considering 1 year ago I considered pressing that big old delete button on the channel. But that's it for this video. Please do drop a like, please do subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye.